When we see someone that we really love and we're excited to and that we're dating, usually we would want to see them, talk to them, pay attention to them. But she either purposely or unconsciously does not even notice him being there. She looks the opposite way. And that's the first sign that perhaps her feelings are not as true as what everyone else believes.
Flowers.
Our angel.
Please don't clap.
She's perfect. She looks perfect. She's poised. She sounds perfect. But whenever you see someone that's perfect, that has to show that they're perfect, there's so much more that's happening underneath the surface. Whenever I see someone that is perfection, I always wonder, why? Why do they need to be perfect? For whom? Is it for themselves or is it for someone else? Has this pressure been put on them, or are they so worried about showing their flaws because perhaps then people knew who this person really was? Maybe they wouldn't accept them. Maybe they would judge them. When everyone else is telling you all the time that you're perfect, you start to believe it, even if it's not true.
A little sisterly advice. If you weren't always trying too hard, you wouldn't be in the way.
And I'm not in the way, you are.
Because you're so busy needing that affirmation from others, when you find out that someone said something even small, you need to attack back. You need to push away. You become very sensitive, very reactive, and that ends up making you look like a narcissist, even in cases when you're really not. You're just playing the part because that's what everyone expects of you.
About Mariano's proposal to Isabela.
He wants 5 babies.
Wonderful. Such a fine young man with our perfect Isabela.
Isabela heard about the 5 babies. She had this anxiety response, and one of the flowers that sprouted from her head was not perfect. And Abuela plucked it and removed it so that she could retain this perfect image. Feel the stress, that need to have to be perfect for everyone else, so much so that they're going to curate you to make sure that you're perfect. That feeling of having to perform always for others, to wear this mask that is not true to who you are, to make everyone else comfortable. It's exhausting.
The most perfect flower. You, Mary!
So there's this huge anxiety response from Isabela, but that flower hitting Mariano in the face, I don't know if that's just because of the house and her stress, but also her feeling about this impending engagement, I think is coming off as this passive-aggressive, or in Isabela's case, aggressive-aggressive situation where she's trying to push him away from her quite literally.
To make the candle bright, you have to embrace her.
Embrace who? Isabela!
But being perfect comes at this huge cost. For a lot of people, no one wants to hang around with the perfect person. You make everyone else feel less than, because as humans, we're always looking at people and mirroring ourselves and what we do and who we are versus them. And when you're that perfect person, and often you are acting perfect because no one actually is perfect. No one. Because of that, no one wants to really be that close to you or hang out with you or go over to your place, because you're going to just make everyone else's flaws show up so much more. You end up with all of this animosity that everyone else has towards you because you make everyone feel less than. And I think that a lot of people that are carrying this need to be perfect are doing it because they're so worried that if they showed who they truly were, their flaws would be judged, that they would be judged as less than. And that hurts the ego also, because everyone holds you up to this pedestal. But the pedestal is a lie. So you're constantly trying to stay up there. But in the end, we all fall off that pedestal. It stops people from being able to be close to you or share with you because they figure that they're also going to be judged by you because of this false mask of perfection.
Everything was perfect. Abuela was happy. The family was happy. You want to be a better sister? Apologize for ruining my life.
She's using Mirabelle as a placeholder for all of that angst of needing to always be perfect and feeling like she's constrained. And Mirabelle put a crack, showed that that's not really that true. And so she sheds all of that anger and frustration at having to pretend to be something she's not in a perfect little placeholder, because for Mirabelle, she's already the person that's the black sheep and blamed for everyone's angst.
Selfish, entitled princess!
Selfish! I've been stuck being perfect my whole entire life.
And you feel that pressure of she's had to do it and it wasn't even for her. The person that's being perfect are usually doing it so that they don't cause trauma to the family, that they're going to do everything right to keep the family calm. And so because of that, they end up eating all of their pain and their anxiety and their emotions, because they're only going to show the things that other people like. And that pressure of having to be perfect all the time, it's so damaging, because it comes at the cost of who you are as a person. It's not real. It's not true. It's a facade. It's lies. And when you're constantly living a lie of who you are as a person, that pressure of not being able to share your feelings makes them stunted, makes you angry, makes you have animosity, but there's nowhere to put it. You don't put it on everyone else, because that would be showing your imperfection. So you end up showing it in other ways, in ways that aren't going to be causing anyone else issues. But often those are maladaptive ways. They could be in hurting yourself. They could be in stunting your growth. They could be in living a lie. They could be in dealing with alcohol or abuse or self-hatred, because where else can you put it?
Sorry. That your life is so great.
No one wants to hear your problems because you're perfect. And even when you share them, everyone else dismisses them because your life is so great, they can't feel any empathy or even sympathy for yours.
I never wanted to marry him. I was doing it for the family.
Boom! She let it out, the thing that she's been holding in. And sometimes when we're so angry and upset, sometimes we just say whatever. But in this case, it gave her the freedom to let out the secret that she's been carrying for everyone else. She was about to get married to someone to make the family happy because he was the perfect person for her to marry. And that pressure, the pressure we have to be able to fulfill what is our role, because we're so wanting to live up to other people's hopes and expectations, that we often will do it at the cost of who we are as a person. That can end up causing us to stunt our growth, or anxiety, or addiction, or depression, or rage issues.
I just made something unexpected, something sharp, something new.
I love that the plant that Isabela made when she was this angry was a cactus, because a cactus has these barbs to protect it. And it doesn't have the beauty of a rose with its barbs. It's just all barbs. It's there to defend itself. And that's what our anger does. It's there as a protective emotion, sometimes to defend ourselves, sometimes to keep people away.
It's not symmetrical or perfect, but it's beautiful, and it's mine.
And that's what she has been without. And I love her reaction to really embracing this beautiful, sharp, but imperfect plant.
Good job. Bring it in.
And sometimes the first time that we share an emotion that is one that we're not used to sharing with others, and for Isabela, it's anger, we sometimes feel like we did something wrong. But for her, this felt freeing and she felt growth. And it's not, oh my goodness, I showed anger and I created this monstrosity. This was, I showed anger and look at this cool, amazing creation that I made. And what else can these emotions, this freedom give me?
So much hides behind my smile.
And isn't that that true, right? She's been masking everything, all of her emotions. She's been giving an emotion that everyone else accepts, because when other people are in distress, especially the person that we've been using in the family to be perfect because that makes everyone else feel comfortable, it's a lie. And it's exhausting to constantly be living a lie. It costs us energy to put on a mask that isn't true. And that's why when we're feeling really angry or really upset, we usually don't want to hang out with other people because we don't have the energy to fake it. And for Isabela, she's been faking it for all of this time, but there's so many more emotions. There's so many facets to her personality that she has cut out so that she can fit in that little bloody box that everyone else needs her to fit behind.
What could I do if I just grew what I was feeling in the moment?
Oh, I love that question. What could we do? What could we do if we really didn't care and we could do whatever we felt like in the moment without the constraints of society and everyone else? Isn't that the question that we are all trying to do, to try to break out of all of those lies, all of those needs, all of the things that hold us down, that don't let us shine as brightly as we want to? Haven't you ever just wanted to run in a rainstorm and splash around in puddles like you did as a child, or something else silly or relaxing or freeing? What could any of us do without the constraints of society and family and the expectations from everyone around us?
What could I do if I just knew it didn't need to be perfect? It just needed to be.
And that need to be perfect, it's not just exhausting emotionally, but it takes up a ton of our time because perfection's impossible. So you're constantly trying to do better. Every mountain you climb, the next one has to be a bigger and better mountain. And sometimes it's only in a certain area, but it's that 80-20 rule. It takes 20% of your time to get an 80% mark and then 80% of the rest of your time to get that last 20%, but you can never really reach 100. If you're that person that after a party or a cake and everyone's saying it was amazing and you're thinking in your head, you know what, but if I had the white tablecloths, it would have been so much better. This might also be you.
As I climb and I push through, what else can I do?
And the amount of time that it takes that you're wasting on perfection, it's usually just hindering you. It's holding you back from being able to do other things or try other things, because why are you going to try something new? Because when you try something new, it's not going to be perfect. Or are you going to quit when you're going to make that next mistake because that next mistake isn't perfect? And how much of your mental time is spent in trying to make sure that that mistake never happens? Learning is about error. It's about trials. It's about not being that good at something. And so often that perfection is really stifling you instead of helping you grow. But perfectionists, they hold that perfection like a badge of honor. They enjoy it. It feeds their ego. And that's why they stay at it. Being imperfect comes at a huge ego cost to yourself. When you're learning to not be perfect, to let it go, it actually, at the beginning, hurts a lot. And so we often will try it once and it was so painful that we go right back into living that lie of perfection, even though those beginning little hurts will really set you free after, when you can let go of them and accept yourself and all your imperfection.
So sick of pretty, I want something true, don't you?
Oof, and I love that. I'm so sick of pretty. I want something that is true, because let's just be honest, beauty is a lie. And especially in this day of all of these digital filters, and we're inundated with these photoshopped pictures, and even the fruit that we buy, we want to find the roundest and the ones that have a bump or a defect, or the ones that we avoid. We are pretty much saying that beauty is what has value in our society, and if you don't fit into that mold, you are not as valuable. And if we truly loved ourselves, how much better would we feel? And not for being perfect, but just for being us. And when you've heard that you're perfect all the time, these words mean nothing because they don't really have value. That's just the lie that you've portrayed to everyone else. You want to be valued for your characteristics, be accepted even for your flaws, for people to see beyond that curtain that you've put up and be okay no matter what is behind it.
Life's been a dream since the moment
funny because I think that a lot of people that act like they're perfect, that want to portray that out, think that people will actually like them better for being perfect, but it's not really true. When you show your flaws, when you show your reality, it makes other people be able to breathe because, oh, I don't have to be perfect either. I don't have to live up to this false dream that I've believed of who you are as a person. And I think that makes people be able to bond with you, to be able to share more. I would have a really hard time going to see a therapist that I thought was perfect because I would be worried that they would be judging me and all of my imperfections. And so often when we let down that curtain and show who we truly are, people don't judge us, but actually like us more in this case. Most of the time. Sometimes they judge us, but most of the time, people will actually like us more for who we really are, because that allows other people to be real also.
What can you do when you are deeply madly truly in the moment?
I love that because that's so true. That's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to actually live in the moment, to be there, because when you're constantly trying to be perfect, your mind is living in that perfection and not really enjoying what you're doing. You're either living in the anxiety of the future or the regrets of the past of what you don't want to become, but you can't enjoy what you're doing in trying to create this perfection. And mindfulness is that, in just enjoying exactly where you are and not worrying about what could be.
What can you do when you know who you wanna be isn't perfect, but I'll still be okay?
Okay, so just a little question that I had. Like, if you thought that the first time that the flower punched Mariano in the nose was just a mistake, I'm like, maybe this is a little bit of displaced aggression because it did happen twice. So I'm like, it had a lot of other people that it could have hit, but it hit him twice. I think this was a little bit of a sign of her that maybe she doesn't really want to get married to him and she's trying to push him away. And just a little,
Look at your sister!
Please, just Isabela wasn't happy.
You ruined her proposal!
No, she needed me to ruin her proposal, and then we did all this, and the candle...
Though she's had that first chance at freedom and being able to speak her mind, you can see that in front of Abuela, she still can't. Mirabel has the strength to be able to share her feelings. But Isabela, when she sees that Abuela is displeased with her feelings and perhaps she doesn't want to get married, you see her furrow her brows and slowly slink away. She still hasn't fully grasped her voice. And that happens a lot, especially when there is this very strong figure in a family. It's very hard to be able to face that hurt and guilt of disappointing the people that we love. And for Isabela, that has been her role. She is perfect so that everyone else can be able to exist. And when we are moving from the role that we feel we have to fulfill for the family, it can be exceptionally difficult to have to break that. And when I say that it's difficult, it's because it causes ourselves, we get physical pain. We feel that angst inside of ourselves where it hurts who we are as a person, because people that are often caretaking other people's feelings by playing a role, the guilt can be crushing to our inner self and cause us physical distress. And we keep playing that role because to be able to break out of it will actually cause us, in a lot of cases, guilt, anxiety, depression, anger, and resentment. To feel someone else's hurt actually hurts us more. And so we carry the hurt, even though in a lot of cases, it's soul crushing to us. Because we are naturally made to avoid feeling negative feelings, we're going to choose the path of least resistance because it might actually hurt us more to hurt others than to hurt ourselves. And so our own wants and dreams end up being pushed to the wayside. And everyone around us might not even know that we are doing it. They believe that they're doing it for us, and we're both kind of feeding into this lie together. Because it's your job to teach other people how to treat you, what you want. And because you haven't been being honest about what your wants and needs are, everyone else will also believe that this is true. And sometimes because you've been so busy trying to caretake everyone else, you might even lose hold of who you are and what your wants and needs really are. Isabela is actually a caretaker. She's caretaking other people's feelings. She's not a narcissist, even though a lot of her behaviors would make you think that she was.
Can need sunlight and fertilizer. Come on, let's plant some new and watch it fly.
And I love that Isabela has really embraced this new different her, and she ends up leaving all of the beautiful colors in her hair. She's embraced that she no longer has to be this perfect image, the image of what everyone else wants for her. It's really hard to be able to put yourself into a new rung. It's something new to you. And when you're doing something new and everyone else has to adjust, it's actually a painful experience. It can be a little bit prickly. And you need to kind of keep at it to be able to embrace that. It's an adjustment for everyone, and you included, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. The lie that we tell ourselves is that we're going to do things because they feel right. But sometimes to do something that is right, we have to do things that might feel new and uncomfortable and may make everyone else a little bit uncomfortable around us also. And so hopefully those parts of you that might be perfect, that may be Isabela, I hope that you also embrace being able to be imperfect, being able to be yourself. Hopefully you like this video, and I'm going to be doing more reaction and psychology videos and much more, and you can watch them all ad-free, sponsor-free, like all my videos, all on Nebula. And it's not just my videos, there's also Nando V Movies, Medlife Crisis, Renee Ritchie, MKBHD, Cinema Wins, and many more. And all ad-free, sponsor-free on Nebula, and bundled in for free when you sign up with today's sponsor, CuriosityStream, at curiositystream.com/Georgia Dow, or click on the link below. And right now, because you watch this channel, you can get CuriosityStream for 26% off, less than $15 a year, less than a new shirt, and that's for the whole year, and it includes their thousands of amazing documentaries and series, like Redesign My Brain, Make Me Smarter. And don't we all want that? Tom Sampson puts brain training to the test. A pioneer in neuroplasticity revolution, Michael Merzenish mentors Todd to show him how to radically improve his cognition by turbocharging his brain, and the many different ways that you can do it. You end up supporting educational creators directly for 26% off CuriosityStream, less than $15 a year, and Nebula is bundled in for free. Yes, free. Just click on the link below or go to curiositystream.com/Georgia Dow. Thank you so much to CuriosityStream and Nebula for sponsoring this video. And if you like this video, hopefully you'll hit subscribe. And thank you so much to everyone that shares my videos on Reddit. That is really so sweet and helps other people find my channel because it's new and just growing. So thank you.